Hey everyone, and welcome to RUBIN'S Mind Lab, where we break down the latest research into what it really means. Ever wonder if you can literally feel what someone else is feeling, not just emotionally, but physically? Well, today we're diving into some fascinating research that suggests your ability to tune into your own body might be the secret sauce to understanding others. This study asks a big question. Can your ability to sense what is going on inside your own body help you guess what is happening inside someone else's body? Think about empathy, right? We often think of it as understanding someone's feelings. But the researchers here are suggesting it might start with understanding their physical sensations, their internal bodily states. They call this ability to sense your own internal body signals interoception, and more specifically, interoceptive accuracy. It's like having a really good internal GPS for your body. The idea is that if you are good at knowing if you are hungry or if your heart is racing or if you are feeling stressed based on your own bodily cues, maybe you can use that skill to pick up on those same cues in others. Now, how do you even measure if someone is good at sensing their own body? The researchers used a clever method called the heartbeat counting task. Imagine you are asked to silently count how many times your heart beats in a specific period, say 30 seconds without touching your pulse. Then they compare your count to what your actual heart rate was, measured by an electrocardiogram or ECG. The closer your count, the higher your interoceptive accuracy. But here is the really cool part. They wanted to see if this skill translated to understanding others. So they created a parallel task, which they called Alteroception. In this task, one person, the guesser, would watch another person, the target, and try to estimate the target's heartbeats just by observation. They couldn't talk to each other. They just had to look. Experiment 1 brought together friends, romantic partners, and strangers. They had participants do both the heartbeat counting for themselves and then the heartbeat estimating for their partner or stranger. And guess what? They found that people were actually able to guess the other person's heartbeat rate better than just random chance. That is pretty amazing, right? You can pick up on subtle cues in someone's body. Even more importantly, they found a strong link. People who were better at counting their own heartbeats were also better at guessing their partner's heartbeats. This was a consistent finding. It suggests that your own internal body awareness is a real predictor of your ability to sense what is going on in someone else's body. Now, a common question with these kinds of tasks is whether people are actually using their body signals or if they're just guessing based on other things like timing or general beliefs about how fast the heart should beat. So experiment 2 was designed to test this. They added tasks to measure how well people could track time intervals and what their beliefs were about typical heart rates. They also looked at whether people's own heart rate was similar to the target's. Even after accounting for these other factors, the connection between being good at sensing your own body and being good at sensing someone else's body held strong. This really strengthens the idea that it is about your core ability to tune into bodily signals. They even tried some priming experiments in experiment 2. They had some people do a task to focus on their own heartbeat. Others did a collaborative tapping task, and some did a neutral task. Interestingly, the ability to guess the other person's heart rate only exceeded chance after the interoceptive priming. This hints that actively focusing on your own bodily sensations might be key to being able to infer them in others. And the findings get even more intriguing. In an exploratory part of the study, they looked at how this alteroceptive accuracy related to other important skills. They found that being good at inferring another person's bodily state, even after accounting for your own bodily awareness, was linked to having lower levels of alexithymia. Alexithymia is basically difficulty identifying and describing your own emotions. So, if you are better at sensing others' bodies, you might be better at understanding your own emotional landscape. It was also linked to making better decisions under uncertainty, like in a gambling task where you have to weigh risks and rewards. And it was associated with better emotion recognition, meaning you are better at identifying emotions from facial expressions. This suggests that this skill of reading bodily signals isn't just about heartbeats, it might be a foundational element for several complex social and cognitive abilities. So, what does this all mean? The researchers proposed that instead of just a theory of mind where we directly infer thoughts, we might have a theory of body. This theory of body, built on our interoceptive accuracy, serves as a foundation. We use our own bodily experiences as a kind of template or reference point to understand what others might be experiencing. It's like saying, When I feel my heart race, it means I am anxious. So, if I see someone else's chest puffing out a bit and their face flushed, I can infer they might be anxious too. Now, it is important to remember this is just one study, and like all research, it has limitations. For example, in their main setup, they always had participants do the self-counting task before the task of guessing the other person's heart rate. This might have made them more aware of their own body, which could have boosted the connection they found. Future studies might want to mix up the order to see if the link is still as strong. Also, they didn't find a big difference between friends, partners, or strangers. You might expect that knowing someone well would make you better at reading their body. But here, it seemed to be more about your individual skill at interoception. This is interesting and suggests that understanding others might be less about familiarity and more about your fundamental ability to sense bodily signals. In closing, this research offers a really compelling idea that our ability to understand others or empathy might be deeply rooted in our ability to understand ourselves, specifically our own bodies. It is like a fundamental building block. Knowing your own internal state might be the first step in building a mental map of another person's. It is a reminder that our minds and bodies aren't separate things. They're intricately connected, and that connection is key to how we navigate the social world. What do you all think? Does this idea of a theory of body make sense to you? Have you ever felt like you could sense when someone else was feeling sick or stressed just by being around them? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this dive into the science of connection, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to RUBIN'S Mind Lab for more fascinating insights into the human mind. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.